Today's stars, tomorrow's leaders.
Welcome once again to the Universiad Summer FISU Games and the men's 69 kilo competition on stage today with a really good competitive field. And here to introduce the contenders, starting with the man from Iran. This is Yava Ruzi, 21 years of age. He's entered a total of 320, which is the third highest total. Next, this is Kwan Chang from the People's Republic of Korea. He weighed in at 64.72, lightest of the class. Yuri Dodoglu, whose birthday today represents Azerbaijan. We'll catch up with him later. Kazakhstan, Alexander Kim, and this is one of the famous Matam tribe who now represent France. Then Bernadette after that, Razvan Nikoara from Romania, Guvanch Atabayev of Turkmenistan, and then representing China, Jingzhao Tao, and Chinese Taipei, Pan Qian Hung, and the last two, Feridun Gulyev of Azerbaijan, 19 years of age, and finally Tarat Bunsuk from Thailand. So those are your athletes, 11 of them. The highest entry totals, 328 from Matam of France and Gulyev of Azerbaijan. But this is a pretty close contest. There are 2 men on 328, 4 on 310 and 2 on 320. So if we go according to the script, this should be a competitive competition. The B group earlier in the day, Ekrem Ajili from Turkey, 295. So he's the leader in the clubhouse at this particular moment. As we pick up the action now with Feridun Gulyev, starting on a conservative 135 kilos. First attempt. 3 men who've already finished on 133, but the competition really hasn't got underway. Junior world bronze medalist this year. Good start, Michaela.
Absolutely, very solid, very dynamic. It's always a relief to get that first attempt in. He can go off the platform now, not relaxed, but the pressure's off. He's in the competition. Let's see what he can increase the weight to.
Indeed, alongside myself, David Goldstrom, Michaela Brees, Commonwealth Games champion, former European junior and European world medalist as well. And there's a familiar face on the screen there, Mr. Vanev.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember him lifting back in the day.
And Azerbaijan have acquired quite a bit of talent in recent years. So a good lift to start off for Gulyev at 135. And now 40 seconds, 138 kilos on the bar.
Well, his hands are a little bit closer than most lifters. The general consensus is if his hands are wider, there's less distance for the bar to travel. Again, very solid first opening attempt.
138 and a good attempt for Kwan Chang of the People's Republic of Korea. This is the sort of competition, Michaela, where the coaches have really got to be alert here because it's very tight. And
there's a lot of tactics that go on behind the scenes. Messing around with weights, increasing them.
Bernardine Kingu Matam for France, formerly from the Cameroons, where he originally established his weightlifting career. And in a long line of Matams who now represent or have represented weightlifting for France. Former African Championship bronze medalist, but that's some 5 years ago.
Wow, they've all got this very unique style of lifting. To have bent arms overhead. So long as the bar goes to arm's length and stays there, no movement at the elbows, it will be deemed a good lift, which I believe that one was.
Yeah, and he's come in 1 kilo than his announced opening weight, which suggests that his warm-up phase went well.
Absolutely. See the effort, first attempt, it's a real effort to get under that bar. Just a fight there to stand up.
And this is what makes this lift so hard, the absolute requirement to be millimetre perfect in every element of the lift.
Absolutely.
Did you favour the snatch, or did you prefer the little extra margin that the clean and jerk gave you?
Well, I think if I look back over my career, I was probably more successful on the snatch, more technical, I guess, although both extremely technical. But yeah, I'd probably say the snatch was my preferred lift. It was over quicker.
140 kilos.
You see how quickly he stood up from that deep squat position. He needed to do that to be able to get back underneath the bar. So long as the lifter stays on the platform, it's deemed a good lift.
Two Azerbaijani lifters involved in tonight's competition. Feridun Guliev and also Yuri Dudoglu. Now Dudoglu, this is Guliev. Dudoglu's got one more attempt to come in, but before him it's the gentleman from the People's Republic of Korea, and this is Kwan Chang the second. Not a lifter that we're particularly familiar of, but you always respect the lifters from this particular country. This is a very important sport in the People's Republic of Korea. They've had much success over the years at Olympics. Good for you?
Yep, looked good to me. You can see a small stutter forwards there, and he'd already been given the down signal, but he just took his time to steady himself to show, I am in control. So no issues there. Drove the bar high to arm's length. Looked very comfortable under the bar.
It's interesting, we got to 142, and we're now only a kilo below Denny of Indonesia's snatch Universiad record of 143 that was set up at the last Universiad at Shenzhen in China. Just to put it in perspective though, with the world best is 165, Georgi Markov of Bulgaria, way back in the Sydney Olympic Games of 2000. So I doubt we're going to get there, but 142 kilos, third attempt.
Guliev of Azerbaijan, and he's nailed it. Look at that smile. Just about stayed on the platform. 3 out of 3 lifts.
Yeah, that's a very good sequence and stands him in pretty good stead. 135, 140. And then just 142 there. The big prize, of course, is the overall title. And that's that really nice feeling, Michaela, isn't it, when you know that you've nailed the lift and the smile can come out.
Yeah, especially when it's on your third attempt. 3 out of 3, that probably means a personal best for Guliev. I've got down that his previous best was 136, so 142, that's 6 kilos up on where he's been before.
And there's no doubt that Zlatan Banev is an absolute find for the Azerbaijanis. A great achiever in his own time at world and European level. So just under the 30-second buzzer there, so plenty of time to lock on, just to focus. 143 kilos, first attempt. This is the, I think this is the Iranian Michaela Brees. I thought for a second there he was going to lose that.
Not as dynamic as some of the other lifters, a little bit soft underneath the bar. Very, very strong.
And again, here's another example of a man who raised the game and the stakes for him personally, coming 3 kilos higher than he originally announced. So that all bodes well for this competition. Iranians perhaps better known for their heavier men, the super heavyweights, but expanding their range here. You expect to see them round the 85, 94, 105 kilo class, but interesting to see that they've got effective lifters at, say, 69 kilos.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen light Iranian lifters, so nice to see. Good to see that the sport is still thriving out there.
It's quite interesting how coaches find lifters of different weight classes. I remember at the last Commonwealth Games in India talking to the Indians, and they had a very interesting approach that they found their lighter weights from the coastal regions where the predominant diet was fish, and the heavier men came from the interior where there was more meat that was eaten.
Matam coming out for his second attempt, 145 kilos on the bar.
Now this is a 5 kilo increase for Matam. Now remember how hard he had to work to get the first one.
He's going to have to dig deep to nail this one, I think.
Needs this, he sensed, to keep in the competition. There are plenty who've yet to start.
Well, that was nowhere near.
No, it wasn't. The pull wasn't really high enough, and his hips were behind. But he has got another attempt at it.
Yeah, I'm not overly optimistic that he's going to be able to retrieve that one. Technically, not brilliant. Lifted his bum up quite high as the bar came off the floor, which sent everything off the toes. Very difficult to get an effective leg drive. There, tip forwards.
Still to start, Xinjiang Tao of China, former junior world champion.
In life and sport, dealing with the challenges ahead requires focus.
So this is Kwan from Korea, People's Republic of Korea. Third attempt, 145. Incidentally, the Chinese competitor, 148 he's posted for his opening lift. And he fails there.
Wow, that was close. Tried to steady it overhead. Sometimes not worth hanging on to when the bar's going backwards. You can cause yourself more injury. The bar went to arm's length so comfortably.
Perhaps didn't emphasise as much as I might have done at this stage that Michaela Brees, when he lifted 143, actually equalled the snatch record. So there are a lot of people here, snatch Universiad record, who have the opportunity to set a new mark here, and 145 would do the trick.
Matam coming out for his third and final attempt. What do you reckon, David?
I sense the way you asked that you don't believe that he's going to do it, but whether he will, I just hope. I always want lifters to make it, and I guess you do as well, so let's hope that the couple of minutes he's had pumping himself up here, but the rest of his body language wasn't. No, you see, I'm just not convinced. He was, for me, never believed that.
A little bit too much hesitation on the bar. When you go for these kind of weights, you really got to be positive. You've got to believe that you can do it, and I just don't think there he fully committed. He hesitated at the top of that pull, not generating enough float on the bar to get under.
Well, this is fascinating at the moment. Of course, he's got the clean and jerk, but you need a platform from which to build your attempt on the major medals. And there you can see 145 beyond him. Now, this is Brees again, and the bar going to 147.
And his first attempt was quite soft. He really does need to be more dynamic to nail this one. Glance towards the clock. 5 seconds.
2, 1. Oof. Well, he gave his coach the heart attack flutters, but he didn't really manage that at all. And basically, you could say that he was never settled in his mind. Mind and body were never together in this lift.
I think he would have liked another 10-15 seconds then to be completely comfortable, but at the end of the day, he goes out, he knows what time he has on the clock. There's a clock right in front of the platform. If you know you're running out of time, you don't waste it.
On the other hand, the other thing is that what they need to do is to make sure they get him out there with a few more seconds, if that's what he really needs.
These lifters are experienced enough, though, to cope under pressure. I mean, I do it all the time in the gym with my guys, is give them 10-second countdown, and they might be sat on the chair next to the platform, haven't even got their wrist supports on or their back belt tightened up. If I say right 10, they know what I mean. You've got to lift that bar before 10 seconds, and it's practicing the kind of scenarios that you're going to be faced with in competition, and that's important. Likewise, having 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes between attempts in training is sometimes necessary to simulate what might happen in a competition when there's quite a few lifters lifting the same kind of weights.
So he's following himself, so he's still got well over a minute, so time is not an issue. He's 21 years of age and quite promising. He's the Asian champion of this season. He did 147 in the Asian Championship, so the weight he's attempting, this is his third attempt, is a weight that he has achieved. And he went 147, 176 to 323, which is a decent amount of kilos. So third and final attempt, and this would be for a new Universiad snatch record. He's already equaled the old record, but this is to own it.
Much better attempt. Can he steady himself?
Well, that's really gutsy. It wasn't pretty to look at, but he's got 3 white lights there, and that is given us a good lift.
Just having a look there to see if the bar is loaded correctly. He's questioning why he was off balance so much.
Well, you can't see from this photograph how deep he got.
That's for people back home watching, you want to be landing these weights really solidly, really dynamically in the bottom position. There he caught it and he ended up sinking into a deeper squat. That's a soft position. It's not great when you're lifting these kind of weights. That was a hell of a fight.
So 147, he's got the record and the lead in the snatch phase now. Now, we've got to wait and see now what the Chinese lifter can do, and on cue, here he is. They have such a reservoir of talent upon which to draw from in China. Literally thousands of lifters. And this man was junior world champion at the 62 kilo weight 8 years ago.
Not the tidiest I've seen from a Chinese lifter. Not sure there if he's heard the buzzer.
But he's taken the lead with that opening attempt there, 148, and he takes the record as well, away from Brees. So 148.
Lifts has gone really high as he comes off the floor. That throws him right onto his toes. Trying to compensate now, back on the heels, the bar's swinging. Hands look quite close as well.
His body language saying to us that he's got plenty of strength. And 148 now. This is where he may be thinking, I need to make hay here while the sun shines, because I need to try and pull away from these guys to give myself a margin, a cushion going into the clean and jerk phase. And 148, well, they're surely going to put a couple of kilos on the bar, but this is where the Chinese have become much better in the last, I would say, 6 or 7 years. Once upon a time they always used to go for the ambition, but now they're much more tuned into let's win the lifts and win the medals, and when we've won the medals, if we've got anything left, we'll go for a bit of glory then. But once upon a time they used to go for the glory a little bit too early, and this would be too early.
Yeah, definitely. I think he needs to extend his lead more. Maybe 150, 151 might be a sensible attempt.
It's interesting when you look at the clean and jerk entries. Beruzi, who is at the moment with 147 in second place. 170 is opener, the same as Xinjiang Tao. So those two men in a pretty commanding position. Matam may be more effective on the clean and jerk, but he's already in a situation where he's playing catch up. And the bar up 3 kilos to 151 kilos on the bar, second attempt. And there's that silly sticky number which you almost sense is going to fall. So one day that's going to fall under somebody's foot and they're going to lose a lift. No, he's
not quite. Over the back, out the back door. One attempt remaining. Can he extend his lead any further? You talk about those sticky labels. I've seen it before. World Championships Vancouver, the sticker, we were told to have them on our tummies, and I remember a lifter coming out and it caught the bar and ended up over the lifter's face. Why do they still have them?
Well, it's not. The problem, they say, is because everybody's lifting suit is made of a different material. They find it very hard to find a sticker that will actually deal with all types of cloth.
I could understand if there was maybe 100 people in the field, but you're looking at 10 or 11 guys here. It's not that difficult to remember who's who.
It is their lot numbers, which theoretically can come into play should a couple of lifters end up on exactly the same weights.
Yeah, but all that's on the scoreboard as well.
Now, 2 minutes, still plenty of time. Can he get out there and do this 151? Because if he doesn't, he's only a kilo ahead. Now, he weighed in at, Jin weighed in at 68.63 and Beruzi at 68.44. So the Chinese lifter is the heavier of the two. So this is pretty crucial. He wants to get away a little bit from the opposition.
Yeah, I'd say, and that last attempt was very strong. You know, he's well capable of this weight. Whether or not he can steady it overhead, let's see. Much better, much more confident, really drives out of that deep squat position straight away, no hesitation.
And he's got that advantage now. In fact, it's 4 kilos. Beruzi finished on 147, he's got 151, and how precious might those 4 kilos be going into the second half of the competition?
He's in a good place right now. Let's hope he keeps his focus, only halfway through.
So at the halfway stage, it is Chinese lifter Xinjiang Tao with 151 who leads from Jabba Barouzi of Iran, 147 in silver medal position in the snatch phase. And then quite a few failures, leaving Firidun Guliev, who got 3 out of 3, representing Azerbaijan, but 142, which is 9 kilos off the lead. So interesting to see how this goes in the second half, because Firidun Guliev stronger at the clean and jerk than he is at the snatch phase, and capable of 176, which makes him a player in the second phase of the competition. So that's where we are at the halfway stage. China, Azerbaijan.
What's in a Universiad, the 27th summer?
Now concentrate on the clean and jerk, and it's Kwan Chang, first attempt at 168 kilos. Carries forward 142 from the snatch phase, the same as Firidun Guliev of Azerbaijan. But that was not a good first attempt.
Maybe a little bit after the clean, had to work hard to stand with that. Looks quite warm there.
Now, how tight does he get it to that windpipe?
There's that stagger there. It's so hard to recover if you don't stand up cleanly.
So he's going to have to go for that again. And a sense of surprise there from his trainer. Fully expected him to get that particular lift. Needs this because he's looking for a total 168. If he gets it, it would put him on 310, which would give him perhaps a squeak of a medal, depending on what happens with the others. But I say a squeak, he's not that favoured because of the 142 that he brought forward. But if Firidun Guliev proves not to be so strong in the clean and jerk, then that could open the door for this man. You just sense for these lifters from North Korea that there's that little extra beat of pressure on them to perform and achieve.
You're always anxious coming out for your second attempt, having already failed the first. It's a much better clean. You see there, drove the bar off his windpipe. Steadies himself before being given the down signal. He's going to be pleased with that. He's in the competition.
But it was made by the clean, really.
Absolutely. The easier the clean, the more energy you can serve ready for the second phase, the jerk.
So he has got 310 as his total, which puts him into the lead at the moment overall.
Dip, drive through the bar, splitting the feet nice and evenly, catching the bar at arm's length.
Clean and jerk Universiad record is 178 kilos, so we're 10 off that at the moment, but we've got some likely contenders to come. Remember, 151 kilos set by Xinjiang Tao of China is the new snatch Universiad record from the first half of the competition. Now Matam 169, and he needs to really get going. If he wants to get back into this, he can't afford a failure on the first attempt. He's got to make this. In fact, he's got to make all 3 of his clean and jerk lifts to pull him back up. Just spreads those hands out to shorten the distance. And as I suggested in the first half of the competition, this is much more to his liking.
Absolutely. You see when he stood up out of the clean, he just literally rested the bar across both clavicles. Pretty much took the weight off his hands, just slid them out. Let's watch, see what he does here. This is quite a unique technique. Okay, in this position now, just rests it on top of the bony bits of his neck. Slides his hands out. Hardly any distance there for the bar to travel.
And that puts him on a 309 total, just 1 kilo behind Kwan Chang at the moment. So that was the significance of getting that first attempt in. And this is interesting, coming out on 170, mind you. This was the posted opener.
Very strong in the clean.
Oh, was that a press out there?
He's going to be struggling with that, I think, on his left arm. There was some movement there.
2-1 in his favour.
Been given that.
Well, that's interesting. He's looking happy enough there. I'd like to see that again because wrong angle to have a look at that left elbow. Needs to be the other side. Let's see whether we can tell anything from the outside of the elbow. Does it lock? Oof. Very difficult to see from that angle, Michaela, but from the live lift it was a bit suspicious, I have to say.
Well, it appears that he's been given it. You have to go with the
no, that is a press out.
Look at that.
That is a press out.
Where's the jury in this situation? The jury, there's a table usually of 4 or 5 people sat on it watching, and if they're the only ones that have the power to overrule any decisions. There we are, there's the jury.
Taisto Kupala, the president of the jury from Finland there, Alexander Kurlovich on the left there, former heavyweight champion of the world. And it's a no lift. Well, they took their time, but finally the jury got it right. They've overturned the referees. I think it was only Svetlana. I'm just having a look at the referees. Not quite sure who was the one who did give it as a no lift. It should have been the referee on the left-hand side because they have the better view of the elbow. So this is a worry, and they put the bar up. So strength wasn't the concern. They've gone to 172 for the second attempt to try and keep them on track.
That was a bit tougher. And that was nowhere near.
It's got into his head, hasn't it?
Well,
he thought he was home free, and then suddenly, sitting down there with a smile, he's told that his lift is no good.
Just wonder if he found out in time that his lift was no good, because...
Oh, you mean, did he have the full 2 minutes to recover?
Well, I'm looking at the fact that he's gone up 2 kilos. He thought, he'd come off the platform, been given it as a good lift. Just wonders maybe whether or not the language is a barrier, and it took a minute for that message to get back to say it is a no lift.
Well,
each time the bar's gone up.
Here's the man who led at the halfway stage with a new Universiad snatch record, who now faces the most uncomfortable couple of minutes here because...
Well, just look how hard he's breathing there. That takes an awful lot out of you. To go for a maximum weight is really going to punish the body. What's the most challenging thing that he's facing now is he only has 2 minutes to recover. So you can see there's 44 seconds left on the clock. He's going to use another 10-15 seconds to chalk up before he approaches the bar. He needs to use every single second to try and recover.
They're worried. That's concern.
That second jerk was nowhere near. You can see the anxiety on his face.
It's a hard clean again, and he doesn't waste any time, but arguably was he just a little bit too quick going for the jerk there? Had he stabilized, had he got himself, and suddenly from hero to zero, because he's out of the competition, 3 failures in the clean and jerk, no total, and he's left with victory in the snatch phase, but that will mean nothing to him.
Well, it's desperately disappointing to be in the lead, a commanding lead after the snatch. But it's who copes with the pressure, who calls the right weights on the day, and I think in this case, they got it wrong.
Well, I'll tell you what, Michaela, that opens the door, doesn't it?
It does. It makes the competition very interesting now. There's a few lifters, I think, or a few coaches in the warm-up room that will be thinking they now have a chance of getting back into the medals. The lifters themselves won't know what's going on because they'll be so focused on their own warm-up. Yeah, but Barouzi, who lifted 147, now the man who represents Iran becomes something of a favourite, although he's got all the lifting to do. Now he's got a lead of 4 kilos now over everybody else. 174 here for Kwan, third attempt. Remember, he's sitting on 310. This is crucial. This is maybe a medal lift. Can he do it? Oh, so close.
What a pity. What a real pity. Because that does leave him on 310, and again a door is ajar now for the likes of Matam, well, Barouzi, and even Guliev could come into this.
Absolutely, this is wide open now. You see there the upper back rounding slightly while he tries to stand. Didn't really finish driving through the bar. So nearly had it though.
What a moment for Master Barouzi of Iran, Jabbar Barouzi. Interesting, 143, 147 failed, 147 got. And now Barouzi out for this opening clean and jerk of 175. Now this would be for a 322 turtle and a clear lead.
Very strong legs. She's shaking there. Oh, can he stand still? He's not sure. Needs to show that he's under control before the referees will give him the down signal.
Yeah, the rules call for the feet to be still and in line.
This guy must live and breathe squats. Look how easily he stood up with that. Puts it into perspective, these guys are weighing sub 69 kilo body weight, lifting over 175.
Yeah, so it's well over double body weight, but success, 322, and he's really thrown the gauntlet down to the rest now, because it's a clear advantage, and that's a good first attempt. 175, it's only 3 kilos short of the Universiad record, also set by Denny of Indonesia in Shenzhen. That was 178, so I suspect we're going to see an attack on that. And now Zlatan Vanev out for his man from Azerbaijan. First attempt here for Guliev. Guliev 5 kilos down on Barouzi at the halfway stage. Oof. Well, that's the best clean I've seen.
He wants this. Look how determined he is. There's no messing around.
Well, there's also pretty clear here that this is his forte, much more than the snatch, because 135, 140, 142, giving away 5 kilos to Barouzi.
He's limping badly on that knee. What's he done?
He's heavier than Barouzi as well. Now, he didn't catch it.
Well, when the body's under this kind of pressure, it doesn't take much for something to go. Let's hope he's not in too much trouble there. Just mobilising the patella.
Well, it's not comfortable, is it? And now Matam. Now, could he come into this? Remember, he's sitting on 309, and at the moment he's behind Kwan, who had a failure at 174. and is sitting on 310. So this is to go into medal position. Would be silver at this moment if he makes this, because this would be for a 315 total.
Has to work hard. So strong overhead though. He's been eating something blue to match his leotard. Happy with that. Second attempt, 175.
Actually puts him into third place. I do beg your pardon, because you've got Baruzi and Guliev right in there, but that's a very good effort from Matam. And it just shows you that if he could improve his performance in the snatch phase,
I think some of these guys are going to be going for it on their third and final attempt.
23 years of age, Matam. So you would think a bit more to come. Needs to work hard. Baruzi looking pretty businesslike, I have to say here. Now 175 gave him his 322 total. There's another 5 kilos on the bar here, and just having a look at Baruzi's performances in winning the Asian Championships this year, 176. So this is 4 kilos above that. And of course, this will be a new Universiad clean and jerk record by 2 kilos. But that's irrelevant in the mind of this man, Yaba, just thinking about getting the lift. Second clean is okay, but it was that much harder.
Oof. How's a power jerk attempt? Sinking deeper and deeper, trying to slow down. That clean took an awful lot out of him though.
He's got one more go, and he is, you know, he is in the lead at the moment, but he's not home free. He's got Guliev of Azerbaijan, who's still got work to do. 322.
There really is no room for error when you're attempting a power or a squat jerk. It's got to be dead straight.
317 is Guliev. Matam 315. Those are the men who are involved in this medal fight, and this is all about the overall title. And Baruzi now coming out, totaled up 323 in the Asian Championships. 147, 176, 323. That was his total there. He's got 147 in the snatch today, 175. Last attempt at 180 here. Under
pressure here, trying to recover. You can still see he's still breathing very heavily after that last attempt. It's 10 seconds on the clock.
Pretty good. Last effort.
Left it gone. Nothing left to give.
And, well, the interesting thing is he's vulnerable now, Michaela, because you've got Matam with 1 attempt left, sitting on 315, so he needs 7 kilos more. He needs a 182 lift because he's lighter. And you've got Guliev, who's got 2 attempts left, and he's sitting on 317, and he needs 4 kilos to get ahead. So suddenly Barouzi has become the meat in the French and Azerbaijani sandwich, because he can do no more. His destiny is in the hands of others.
It's tough going back to the warm-up room, just watching the rest of the competition unfold. Nothing else you can do. That's a tough place to be.
Zlatan will be saying, this is yours, mate, come on, you can do this. But it is a 6 kilo increase to 181. Big moment.
With a sore knee as well.
He's probably told him to make this on this attempt. Oh, great chuck. Really good. And there was nothing wrong with that. 3 white lights. And he goes into the lead by a kilo. Heavier than Barouzi at the bodyweight weigh-in, so he had to do that extra kilo.
You can see how much that means to him and the coaches.
Clean and jerk Universiad record for a little icing on the cake.
See the anxiety in his face there. He knows this is going to hurt. He's given everything. Didn't quite catch the bounce at the bottom. Made it that bit harder than it needed to be.
But interesting, you know, you sense that Vanev will have said to him, you need to do this on the second attempt. He's still got one more to go.
Well, how much further could he go?
Well,
he just needs to sit and wait now, see what everybody else does.
Well, he's got 323. Barouzi's got 322. He's finished Matam now, so he's going for a 7 kilo increase, which is interesting because this would take him from 315 to 322, so it wouldn't take him into the lead. It's an interesting choice of weights. He's the lightest of the three. Why didn't they put another kilo on? Eight seconds.
Oh, that's why.
Well, they might as well have put the extra kilo on for all it matters. But he is the bronze medalist, and that's a nice reward for him and his French team. And there's the trademark, just showing that there still was a little energy in his tank. Perhaps he should have put that into the final lift. Definitely.
Gymnasts make the best weightlifters, so any gymnasts out there that are coming towards the end of your careers, check out the nearest weightlifting club and come and get involved.
Like your one down in Aberdare.
Yep, we set up Brees' gym in Aberdare. If anybody fancies getting in touch, give us a shout.
You can just put the name into the RAC route finder. Or are you getting to be well known in Aberdare now?
Well, I think most people know what we're doing. We've taken over a church. We've converted a fantastic building into a gym, building the numbers, and my job now is to try and create a weightlifting squad that can be a force to be reckoned with. Time will tell. It's tough starting from scratch, so I need a couple of years yet. But I'm looking forward to what that time holds and the lifters that we can produce.
Bit of Andy Murray work ethic.
The guys that I'm coaching generally work quite hard. Well, they do when I'm there anyway. I dread to think what they'll be doing now while I'm not there.
I think Andy Murray worked more than quite hard.
Superb result. Well done,
yeah,
Andy.
Fantastic.
Absolutely fantastic, yeah.
Just brilliant in the first set. I thought, setting it up, and had to win that first set. But anyway, let's get back to the business in hand now, because, well, here we go. He's won the competition. So what shall we do? Well, let's have a pop at something really big, like 10. Is that 10 kilos they put on the bar to 191?
191.
Now that is 6 kilos short of Zhang Guozheng's world clean and jerk record that was set at the Asian Championships back 10 years ago.
There'll be some relevance to this. Maybe he's done a 190 before, once a personal best. He's not getting up the bar.
No. But he's won it. The big surprise really was the demise of the Chinese lifter Xing Chao, failing on all 3 clean and jerk attempts, and that really opened the door. Barouzi looked as if he could be good enough to take this for Iran, but he had 2 failures at 180. This man, though, Guliev, sitting only in 3rd place after the snatch phase, coming through with 181 at his 2nd attempt, to totaling up to 323 to take the 69 kilo Universiad Summer Championship of 2013 in Kazan by a kilo. Barouzi the silver, and Bernardine Kingo-Matam for France, 315 kilos for the bronze, and Kwan of People's Republic of Korea left on 310. And had he made his final clean and jerk attempt, he would have taken the bronze medal. But that's one of those if only moments. Yeah, well, he may well pat those 25 kilo reds, but it's a title and he's got it, and underlines the growing strength in depth of the Azerbaijan weightlifting squad. Remember Azerbaijan, who will be hosting the inaugural European Games in 2015 in Baku, of which no doubt weightlifting will be a part.
I think there's a bit of disbelief in the warm-up room that he's actually won.
Well, a bonus it may be, but we'll take it. Well, that's it for today. Michaela Brees and myself, David Goldstrom, will be back with you in a couple of days' time for the men's 77 kilo competition. But there, the final result: victory to Azerbaijan, Iran just a kilo away, and France taking the bronze. Hope you enjoyed it. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye from Kazan.